right, Lee Teat, Friday main event. We are here live from Marshall County High School.
Sorry, man.
I can hear you playing, man. We must be live.
Yeah, we're live.
That's a good deal. Yeah, Lee Teat and Mike Moulder, Friday main event. We're live over here at Marshall County High School. Got a big game tonight. Shelbyville comes in. Shelbyville still kind of stinging, I guess, a little bit, Lee, from what a game they felt they got robbed, and anybody that watched the game probably couldn't argue a whole lot.
Pretty controversial ending.
Yeah, they played Page very well, and but I still think that region with Summit in it is still up for grabs.
Oh, it's wide open.
So let's go ahead and jump right into it, Lee. It was another huge game over here in Middle Tennessee, and we got our buddy Bronson Bradley over at Mount Pleasant on with us. Coach, you guys got a huge game yourselves, don't you?
We got a big region matchup tonight with Fayetteville City School with the Tiger. Big Tiger matchup tonight.
That's I'm pretty excited about that, man. I think your team really, they're playing at a high level. I think you're averaging 41 points a game, only giving up 14 points a game. You got to be pretty happy with the production so far, don't you?
Oh yeah, we are very happy, especially with the defensive side of the ball. I mean, last week we only give up one pick six, but the defense really only give up one touchdown, and it was it was one of them late, I think, or early. Went on a big play.
Right.
But other than that, defense has been playing really good, flying to the football, and that's what I'm most excited about this year.
Well, Coach, you guys beat a really solid Richland team that I felt probably was going to put up a little bit more of a fight last week. You and your staff, I feel, did an excellent job in the off week preparing for that. Were you able to get some of your younger kids in the second half of that game?
Yeah, most of our young kids, I think it was about almost the fourth quarter. They started about a minute left in the third quarter. We got a lot of young guys, started getting the young guys in.
Good.
But Richland, they did put up a fight. I mean, they are a physical football team, and Coach Nick Patterson over there has done a good job of getting them ready and out of that mentality that they're just Richland. They're confident and got some big backs and some big linemen, and they may make some noise yet.
Yeah, I've met Coach Patterson earlier this year, and I was really impressed with him. I think they made a good hire over at Richland with him.
Oh, yeah.
Coach, you guys moving on, man. You got a really good Fayetteville team coming in tonight. Two great athletes, Josiah Clark, Jacob Medlin. They both taken snaps behind center. I think Romella Twitty, I think he's averaging like 12 yards a carry as a running back for him. How good did this team look on film to you guys?
They look really good. It's definitely those three have made a huge difference in the team that they had last year. Because I don't think any of the three played last year. I think maybe the quarterback number 10 is from Alabama, and then the other two just didn't play for whatever reason. But yeah, little number 4, Romelo, I think's his name. He's quick as lightning, and will be real shifty top back. And then you got number 3, Clark, I think's his name, and he's tall, athletic kid, can go up and get the ball, or like you said, he puts him behind the center and. If they don't miss a beat with number 10's on in there. So some real pretty strong kids there.
Well, Coach, we noticed in our notes, both you guys, Fayetteville and yourselves, have 9 starters returning on each side of the ball. And then you just mentioned, 2 of those kids you were just talking about didn't even play for them last year.
Right.
And y'all won this game 40-0. So logic would say you should be a heavy favorite. But other than the new head coach that they got at Fayetteville, what do you think? You think these 2 kids are the difference in that team?
I do. I think, them and number 52, his name's just not on my head right now, but he's a nose guard and lineman.
Right.
He played with him last year too.
Right.
But the man, he's a stud in the middle and can control the line of scrimmage. So those 3 kids and that lineman, man, they're pretty good, and yeah, they make the ball roll over there in Fayetteville. And from what I've seen on film, it's just a whole different group of it looks like a whole different team. Of course, they are different offensively.
Right.
But yeah, they seem to get bought into the new coach and his philosophies, and doing a good job with him so far.
Yeah, I think the fact that he was able to get out, and I heard that from several people, he was able to get out and recruit the hallways. That's a big deal when you're a new coach coming in. So I think he's done a great job with that. Mike Moulder and Lee Teat talking Tiger football with Mount Pleasant head coach Bronson Bradley here on a Friday main event. Coach, talk about playmakers. You guys have got some really great playmakers yourselves. I know Keyshawn Hudson had a big year for you guys last year. He came in with preseason All-State honors. How has he looked so far for the Tigers?
He hadn't missed a beat from last season. He's picked right up where he left off, making big plays, catching the football. Is a great route runner. Good, really smart on the defensive side, and can also carry the ball if we need to from the backfield.
Right.
So he ain't missed a beat from last year, and looking to have a big year. We're excited about Keyshawn, and we also have Kane Forrest, which was, he was in the shadow last year of Zyshawn Alderson,
right?
But a really good running back in himself, and he's been waiting in the shadows, like we said, and he's already stepped up and had a coming out game last week against Richland.
Okay.
So he's done a really good job, Kane Forrest, and of course number 10 Hayden Lovely, our quarterback, controls the offense. He's been starting now for 4 years. He started as a freshman, and has really grown up in this program, and good leader among the team. And just real mature on the football field, and that's what you really want in a good quarterback.
Well, Coach, speaking of Hayden, where do you think, as you alluded to, he's a 4-year starter. Going into his senior year and through these first few games, what do you think is the biggest improvement? Where's the biggest improvement Hayden's made? What aspect of his game?
I think his IQ's got an 8 route, go deep, just send
Right.
Keyshawn deep. Or
that was his safety net, huh?
Well, yeah, I know. As I went to a 1A school, you don't always get those coaches walking the halls and get the calls, radio phone calls like right now, and you don't always get that. But one of the things that I wanted to do is make sure we get the same opportunity as
Coach T Plus membership, which I
I just really attribute it to his hard work and action quarterbacks I had in the little kids camps that we have here in the summertime when he was young, and then he moved away for a couple of years and came back in freshman year maybe, and he was actually going to be. We definitely need to clean some things up, and we're young on defense, and we don't have many, upper class.
Coach Osteen should be here shortly after that, and we'll get him on live with us. Smalls come in. I thought he did an incredible job.
Not as good as it's been in the past, but that doesn't mean.
Looking forward to watching this game.
So tonight, we'll get into it.
We'll talk about that in the big games. I'll tell you what, Lee, matter of fact, we'll take a real quick break right here, and we'll come back and we'll discuss the big games while we're waiting on Coach Osteen to get over the field.
Yes, sir.
All right, Friday main event. I'm Mike Mulder. He's Lee Teat. We'll be back right after this. For the second child that plays, remember, and just because you are now Tennessee, margin 5-5, eh? Are you impressed? I knew that.
Yeah,
from a talent standpoint.
Yes.
I don't know how big the loss of the run game is going to affect Shelbyville. Like you just mentioned, it may not affect them at all. They may go, straight up spread, empty backfield, and just sling the ball around.
Just sling it around.
I could see that happening. A big game last night, Lee. You kind of mentioned it. We hadn't covered it a whole lot, but we'll briefly hit on it. And that's what they call it, the Red River Shootout. Maryville and Alcoa, huge game over there in Blount County. I listened to a lot of that game. I was shocked, to be honest with you. What was your thoughts?
Oh, man. To be honest with you, anytime those two teams play, I expect a tight game.
Right.
But with the absence of T. Hodge,
right.
I thought Alcoa, especially at home, man, I thought Alcoa was going to win the ball game, and Maryville comes out there and holds Alcoa to 3 points. And that's with Maryville having 4 turnovers.
Was it 17-3? I think it was
17-3.
Halftime, it was 3-3 tied up. I think, Lee, what I heard anyway when I was listening to the game, it seemed like Alcoa were their own worst enemies.
Yes.
They had a lot of penalties. I think a questionable, at least in the Alcoa fan base, a questionable pass interference penalty when they were driving for a score, go-ahead score. Of course, I didn't see the video. I listened to the play-by-play.
Last 3 or 4 years, but I think they're better. Fantastic, just a really good player, and so this is really, I think, is.
But you got any concerns about
those things? Always worry as your coach. It's funny. The Lincoln County game, we faced a lot of adversity in week 2, and so hopefully that's helped a little bit. But and then kind of on the flip side of that, we played a dogfight every single game last year.
That's right.
but really besides Pearl Cone, almost every one of our games were decided by 10 points or less. The majority of our kids have, hopefully remember what those battles feel like. So, yes, it does worry you, but hopefully we've got at least some experience to draw on in that department as well.
Well, I think maybe the story this year for you guys has been the defensive side of the ball. I know they've accounted for 4 turnovers against Tullahoma, 3 interceptions, a fumble recovery. They're continually putting you guys, your offense, in a good position. Talk a little bit about the leaders on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Our defense is the best unit on our team right now. I think we played really good complementary football. Our special teams has been really good. Of course, I'm biased. I think we got the best kicker anywhere around on our team. But defensively, we're not as big as we've been up front.
Right.
I think we run as well at all 3 levels as any unit I've had defensively since we've been here. Coach Cobb does a great job with them. We had a lot of guys returning on defense. 2 defensive line returners, Keelan Talley and Tez Allen. They're both really good.
Right.
Our linebacker level, Christian Stacy, Rakai Summers, Andrew Gold is as good as 3 as we've had since I've been here. And then our secondary is all 4 returning starters. So a bunch of experience. And you worry if somebody starts leaning on us, can we hold up? But as far as running sideline to sideline, it's the best group that we've had in 5 or 6 years.
Well, Coach, if it was me and I played last Thursday night, I'd probably be getting somebody on my staff. I know you got some younger children there, but I'd have probably had somebody on my staff checking out Nolensville last week on Friday night. Was you able to get somebody somewhere to check somebody out?
Of course, obviously, I felt coming in this year that they were.
You guys are pretty close.
I did, man. I really, of course, as far as Nolens, so again, he's good. It's heard of Lipscomb, so they're still really good. I hope they're not quite.
2 of the better young coaches, if right up there top of O several times, 224 yards.
I like Fairview tonight.
Well, I talked to our buddy over there, our connection over there at Waverly, and he said that apparently their expected QB to start the season was knocked out by injury, and they've been working with a new kid. He's coming around now, obviously 48-12 over Hickman County.
Right.
Of course, they did lose to Huntington and Canada, 2 really good squads.
Really good squads. Yeah,
don't read too much into that, right?
Exactly right.
And then, of course, Fairview is 2-1. They beat Cheatham County last week. They beat East Hickman. Their only loss was to the Page team we talked about earlier, a 4A school,
right?
Or excuse me, a 5A school versus a 3A school. And so I'm not convinced Chris Hughes' team ain't gonna be there making a deep run again this year.
I think so.
So we're going Fairview, correct? Yes, well, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna torture them, man. I'm gonna put you back on the screen. So we want them to see who's making these picks, just in case they want to make fun of us, Lee. But
they got plenty to make fun about. If they was listening to my picks, man. I'm not doing too good this year.
Well, it was like you told me, you've been picking with your heart a little too much.
Yeah.
And that happens. I don't have an excuse. At least you got an excuse. Riverdale and Smyrna, Lee, that's the next game on the list. And Riverdale, man, they have looked phenomenal. Will Kreisky's team, 35-17 over Cookville last week. And then you got Smyrna. They finally got things turned around last week, 34-14 over John Overton. What's your thoughts on this game here?
Well, I think the difference in this ball game tonight is Taylor Yancey. Riverdale's quarterback, he's a senior, man, and he's playing very well right now.
Right.
And senior leadership, I like it. I don't think they go over there. I still don't know what happened in that East Nashville game, the very first week of Smyrna. It's just kind of uncharacteristic, from Coach Williams' teams that are typically very good on defense. So,
well, what you got to remember, Lee, is they had Alex Bannister last year, very good senior quarterback. Now they're starting Tavian Tiggs, and he struggled. He's a new quarterback. He's only completing 42% of his games. I think he's thrown 4 interceptions already. Still has yet to throw a TD pass. So, they're struggling. Anytime you bring in a new quarterback, you're going to have some early season struggles, and I think that may be part of the issue.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, man. I think they may get in this last stretch, and you might see Smyrna start making a little noise when they get ready towards the playoffs, I think. if they can just get out of this hole. But man, tonight they're.
I think they got to get Dallas Walker going, don't you?
Yes.
He's only accounted for 5 tackles, Lee, all season. I'm sure he's drawing a lot of double, triple teams, but they've got to get the big man involved, I think, to a greater extent.
Yeah, got to get him turned loose, him and Rucker.
Yeah.
I like Riverdale.
I like Riverdale as well. Lee, Red Bank, and, of course, we had East Hamilton head coach Grant Reynolds on with us last week. They've played very well. Matter of fact, he told us their only loss, Saudi Daisy. He said they should have won that game. Watch out, Lee.
See them hands.
Yeah, that's nice, man. I'm impressed. Yeah, Red Bank has played really good, 3-0 right now, 28-7 over Signal Mountain. They beat Ottawa, and they beat this same Saudi Daisy team. So if you look at common opponents, Saudi Daisy beat East Hamilton and lost to Red Bank. So what's your thoughts?
I don't know, buddy.
You're doing a lot of thinking over there.
I am. Man, East Hamilton lost to Saudi Daisy, but they turned the ball over a bunch in that ball game.
Yeah.
If he cleans that up, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm going East Hamilton.
You taking Coach Reynolds?
Yes,
I like
sir.
it. Haynes Eller has put up great numbers, and we talked about Haynes Eller to Coach Reynolds last week. He's done a really good job. Adam Cottle has played really well on both sides of the ball. Again, they've had 2 common opponents. I don't know, Lee. I want to go East Hamilton because I'm good friends with Grant Reynolds, but I think this Red Bank team might be just a little too stout for them. Signal Mountain was the other common opponent, and they beat them by a much larger margin than East Hamilton. So, I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to go Red Bank. In this. Yeah, I'm going to go Red Bank. I'm going to flip on you on that one. Jefferson County and Knoxville West, Lee, we've got 2 undefeated teams. 6A Jefferson County, Spencer Riley doing a really good job as head coach there. A little bit of a shocker, but I don't want to read too much into it, Lee, because the common opponents are the opponents have a combined 2-7 record in that 3-0 record for Jefferson County, so they haven't been tested yet. So I don't want to get too heavy into the fact that they're 3-0.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, West is very, very talented, man. They've got a couple preseason All-Staters there playing at the linebacker spot. I like West, probably by a substantial margin. I don't want to say it's going to be just an absolute blowout, but I'd say 14 or better.
Yeah, and they've got some quality wins already. They beat a really good Farragut team, and they beat a Bearden team at full force. That was when Ironside was still playing.
That's exactly right.
So, man, they've been tested, no doubt. And I think our fan base, Tennessee sports, 78% like the Rebels. I thought that number would be hard, to be honest with you.
You know what? If anybody's out there that's got some info on West, I'd like to know about that sophomore quarterback in Harrison. He's got to be playing pretty good.
Tracy Malone could probably tell you. He's on the staff over there now. He's a buddy of mine from when he was at East Ridge.
Yeah, so we need to find out about that.
Probably check with him.
Yeah.
I need to get Lamar Brown on my call list. Coach Brown's doing, he was at Morristown West before he came.
That's right.
Did a good job there. We need to get him on our call list. I'd like to talk to him at some point. We're going West. Agree?
I'm going West.
I'm going West. I like it, Lee. Pearl Cone and Maplewood, Mr. Teat. This preseason I thought would be a good matchup, but given the fact that Pearl Cone and their new quarterback, Martino Owens, he's been near perfect. 41 of 61, 630 yards, 8 TDs. He still hasn't thrown a pick. You can't play any better than that.
He's special. That's all you can say about the kid.
Yeah.
He's just a special player. And then, of course, you throw in Deshaun Wade over there and Breed Love at tailback. I mean, Pearl Cone is absolutely stacked with talent.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat a Cane Ridge team. We know Cane Ridge is battling some injuries earlier in the season, but they beat a very well-coached Eddie Woods team, Cane Ridge, and then go right across and beat one of the private schools that's a powerhouse. It has typically been a powerhouse in the NBA. That's, they play every year, and
And this Stratford team they played last week, Lee, we had them in our top 10
right,
preseason.
Man, and blowed them out.
Held them to 6 points. So, we're as enamored as we are with the offense, their defense has played just as well.
That's exactly right. So, I'm going to go Pearl pretty big.
I'm going Pearl Cone, and I think Pearl Cone is already my early favorite to head to Cookeville this year on the west side.
I like them, and that East Nashville game is going to be intriguing. That Pearl East Nashville game.
And our guys over at Covington, I don't want to count them out. So
they'll be in the hunt. They'll definitely be in the hunt.
Absolutely. But I like Pearl Cone, what I've seen out of them. Lee Fulton is a 70% favorite to beat Austin East. Now, I thought this was a little surprising. I know Rob Black, and I thought when they played Central close, they got blown out by South Doyle week 1, and they played Central close. I was like, okay, well, we got things turned around. Coach Black's figured some stuff out, and then they get shut out 34-0 by Powell last week. So now I'm back to what the heck,
Well, we know not Central and South Doyle are. We mentioned that, dude. Coach Black's schedule is brutal.
It is. It's tough.
It's brutal. I'm gonna go with Fulton.
Go with Fulton. This was one. There's about 2 or 3 games on our list, man. I was told.
I'm gonna go with the fan base.
I was told a coin toss. I mean, that may be the way to go. Jeff Phillips' squad, much like Fulton, has had a brutal schedule. They had Alcoa.
Obviously.
And then, region game. And then Knox Webb, who's a traditional powerhouse in the private school. Well, this kid's got a darn foot on him.
Oh, no, it's ridiculous.
Oh, my gosh. He is knocking the ball up against this wall over here from, 40 yards out?
Yeah, a bit of it.
He's making me nervous, Lee.
Well, that's why I said I just hope you don't hit me upside the head, because if it – boom.
Well, that kid's throwing water on him while he kicks. Don't count that one. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, Lee. I kind of strayed off the topic here. I think I'm going to go with the Roadrunners just because.
Really?
I think Coach Black's offense has really struggled under Tommy Sweat. He's only completed 37% of his passes, 4 interceptions already. He's putting that Fulton defense in a bad situation. And I understand he's first-year starter.
Sure.
But he is a junior, Lee, so I would assume that, he's had some time back there. If nothing else, running the scout team the last couple of years. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they make a move at QB if they don't get the season turned around anywhere.
Right.
I would be inclined if they're 0-3. When's the last time Fulton was 0-3?
Well, Coach Black's 88-19 in 8 years. So.
Exactly. So this is very atypical for a Fulton team. So I think if they struggle tonight, I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked at all to see a change at the QB spot.
Right.
All right, Lee. So we're splitting on that one.
Yes.
I got East. You got Fulton. And moving on down, Lee, Summit and Franklin. Brian Coleman's squads look good this year.
55%'s got Franklin?
Yeah, 55%'s
Really?
got Franklin. And if you'll remember, Summit knocked off Independence week 1. We didn't see that.
No.
Beat Columbia 34-14 last week in region play. So they're 3-0 overall, 1-0 region play. The transformation of Otamegwa, who was their leading rusher last year, is now they've lined him out wide at receiver.
That's correct.
That he's played really good. So it seems like Brian Coleman's made all the right decisions here in the offseason, and that Spartan team looks good.
Yeah, man, I've been picking everybody on the road tonight.
It's not normal for you, is it?
No, but I'm going the same way again. I think Summit I think they beat Franklin tonight.
Well, I think I told you I talked to Donnie Webb last week, and we were wondering about Josh Nichols, who was a starting quarterback last year.
That's right.
And they've moved him back to receiver. He hasn't seen a lot of action out there, and that's kind of the same situation I was just talking about with Fulton. They're now 1-2 with Guy Lipscomb.
Lipscomb starting, yeah.
Starting now, and I'm not saying their woes have anything to do with Lipscomb, but they were 6-5 last season and made the playoffs with Nichols at quarterback. Do they possibly make a move here at some point and maybe try to generate some offense. The offense really hadn't. I mean, they were shut out by Ravenwood last week.
Right. Yeah.
See that as a possibility.
Well, they lost to Ravenwood and Riverdale.
Right. True.
That's
true.
two pretty doggone good, tough teams this year, and they beat
Don't
Siegel.
hit the panic button. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they beat Siegel, which Siegel is down. I mean, I don't want to say they're terrible, but they're not playing very well.
Right.
This is going to be a good ball game, I think. But I like Summit. I think that the difference in this ball game is going to be Wade Destin, the quarterback for Summit.
Sophomore quarterback.
Really got a lot of moxie.
Yeah, started at quarterback as a freshman last year, and as Coach Coleman told me this summer, his brother Keaton Wade, who's now taking over the running back duties for Otamegwa, he's put on 30 pounds in the offseason. He's bulked up. He's playing real well for him. I agree with you, Lee. I like the Spartans. I think it'll be a close game, though.
Right.
I think it'll be a good one. If you're over in the Williamson County area, that might be one to go watch. Another game in that same vicinity, Lee, and is Blackman and Independence. That's another tough game, kids. Hartsfield's team 1-2, but losses to Ravenwood and Alcoa. You know, so you don't want to read too much into that 1-2 record, do you?
No. And Indy's wins are over Centennial, which is, I think, middle of the road this year. Kind of a middle of the road team.
Matt Kreisky's coach.
Right. And then CPA is down a little bit for their standards this year. They graduated a bunch of Division I type kids from last season. Mm-hmm. You know, and they lost to Summit, which we just talked about with Coach Coleman. Oh, man, buddy, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who to take.
Got Coach Osteen out there leading the troops. See him over to the side. Zoom in on him.
Oh, yeah, he's out there.
Yeah, there he is over here on the side.
Giving them knuckleballs.
Yeah, he's working on the punt coverage.
Punt return.
Punt return, exactly. That's him.
That's right.
On the right side of your screen there. Good dude, man. I love Coach. Love Coach. They got a good one over here.
Yes, they do.
All right, Lee, where were we? I'm sorry, I kind of strayed off. I was kind of giving the fans a chance to see the kids a little bit. But who did you make a decision on that one? Did you go Blackman or did you go Independence? Or did you not go?
I didn't go yet. Man.
Well, you want me to weigh in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Ethan Cash has only completed 53% of his passes, Lee, and that's way off his numbers from last year. He's averaging 184 yards a game. The glaring numbers is Scott Blade's run offense. They haven't really done a whole lot. Bishop, Pierce, Campbell all have double-digit receptions. So, I mean, they're spreading the ball around good, which is a good thing. So, and that's something Ethan Cash is kind of known for, is distributing the ball well. He even did that when he was at Page, if you'll remember.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't think they have the athletes to match up with Blackman. We saw Blackman. I think maybe too many athletes on the field for Kid Hartsfield.
Well, I tell you what, I think you're exactly right. And I'll tell you the thing about Blackman. We watched it. We were at the Ravenwood game, and I was at the Alcoa.
The quarterback threw a couple of deep balls.
Yes,
I was really impressed with.
They're pretty good. So, man, it's at Stewart's Creek, and I don't know if anybody's in the Rutherford County area and you ain't got nothing better to do. Go over and check them out because they got the best band I have ever heard in high school.
Down to Jackson Northside, played a really good Northside squad. They're 3-0. Just demolished several times over the last years. I believe I had in my notes, Coach Osteen has never lost to Shelbyville. 3-0
Really?
all time against Shelbyville. So
maybe that's why he keeps scheduling them.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, he beat them. I want to say back in 14 when he first come in, and then he's beat them the last 2 years. So pretty good track record against the Golden Eagles. Coach Osteen hoping to change that scenario tonight as his. And he told us, well, I don't want to talk about that game, Lee. We'll talk about that game in a minute. We're working our way up to that game. Next game, Lee, number 7, Daniel Boone and Elizabethton. This huge game over in East Tennessee.
It is.
I'm sorry. I was thinking Davy Crockett. This isn't as huge as I was thinking. Well, Daniel Boone is one. I get them teams mixed up.
Right.
Those names are too similar.
Well,
David Crockett. That would be a good game. They've already played, though, haven't they? No, they beat Science Hill, didn't they?
That's right.
But been able to get over the hump since he's gone back to Franklin County. So 13-24 or 24-13. That's the way I was hoping it would go because I could see it going either way. I was hoping we was on opposite sides of it. We got to quickly get our last two games in here, Lee. Gallatin, Mount Juliet. We're heading up to Mount Juliet next week. This should be a great game here. Chad Watson's squad have looked phenomenal. Of course, Spencer Briggs.